Boston's Catholic Archdiocese. Its mission is to give.
We have 1,000 children in daycare. We run 6 homeless shelters, 4 homes for unwed mothers.
But now the diocese itself is in need.
I like to tell people we beg, borrow, and steal.
Will it receive? And remembering a time of Easter parades, packed parish schools, and personal faith.
I think I was the flying nun. I think that I was as young as the students that I taught, and I got into as much trouble as they did.
That was then. What is now? And Barnacle on the press and the priests.
No other religion takes the kind of hits the church does.
Catholic Concerns, next on Chronicle.
Tonight, Peter Mahegan, Mary Richardson, and Mike Barnacle. Chronicle, the New England news magazine.
These are images of Boston's Catholic Church, but there is much more to the church's mission than masses.
Good morning, Sister Michael Bridget.
Education and outreach, from help for Haitian immigrants to the homeless. The Archdiocese of Boston is the second largest provider of social services in Massachusetts, second only to the Commonwealth itself. These services carry a hefty price tag, and with need up and revenue flat, the church is strapped for cash.
A decrease.
Bernard Cardinal Law admitted in October that a sea of red ink is rising in the Archdiocese. He said at current spending rates, a 5-year debt totaling $11 million could balloon to $45 million by the late 90s. The Cardinal blames the recession and not the fall-off in church attendance that he has worried about publicly. The Archdiocese of Boston is one of only a few in the country that does not collect a percentage of suburban parish incomes. Cardinal Law does not rule out imposing a parish tax to help with expenses, but he's hoping his yearly fundraising drive will be the answer to his prayers. This year, more than ever, Cardinal Law is counting on his annual appeal. Usually the annual appeal runs one weekend in the month of May, but this year it will run the entire month of May. And with 2 million Catholics in the Archdiocese, just $1 extra apiece could make the Archdiocese break even this year.
There are no dollars being wasted. It seems that the answer is that we should step up and meet our obligations as Catholics in Boston. Obviously, we are looking at the expense side of the ledger, and where we can find operating efficiencies, we shall take all of those. We would like to balance the budget without cutting services that are related to our mission.
One of the agencies that carries out that mission, Catholic Charities, could lose its Boston office as archdiocesan real estate holdings are reviewed to see if any should be sold.
We have 1,000 children in daycare. We run 6 homeless shelters, 4 homes for unwed mothers, a number of elderly programs. It's actually cradle-to-the-grave services for people in Eastern Massachusetts. We touch the lives of 250,000 people every year. Last summer, we were very, very proud to be able to airlift 111 Haitian children from Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, where they had been held as refugees. We took them into the Boston Archdiocese.
Haitians living in the Boston area come here for help. Catholic Charities Haitian Multi-Service Center in Dorchester. In addition to refugee resettlement, the center has an AIDS outreach program and adult education classes in English and prenatal care. One of its most popular services, affordable daycare.
So I think it's very important to have a daycare in the Haitian community, serving the Haitian community due to the fact that we do have the same cultural background with the teachers, and my children, all of them, are much more better in their own environment than in any other environment.
Catholic Charities is in a tough spot. The recession has tripled the demand for its services by people of all faiths. Over the past 5 years, it has dramatically increased the number of clients it serves, while revenue dropped 14%. Nearly 300 staffers have lost their jobs.
Some of our clients are making more money than our staff, so it doesn't make sense sometimes, but we have to continue to fight for more funding so that we can empower both our staff and our clients also.
Another financial drain on the Archdiocese, 13 inner-city parishes, such as St. Paul's in Upham's Corner, whose parishioners are in more of a position to receive than to give.
And really, if it wasn't for the Cardinal Stewardship Appeal, we couldn't exist. I mean, we get, this parish here now, we get $6,800 a month from the Archdiocese. That's to pay our salaries, our insurance, health insurance, and for some of the maintenance. The rest of it, I like to tell people we beg, borrow, and steal. Really not steal, but we do an awful lot of begging ourselves.
Every night, St. Paul's provides 50 beds for the homeless. Many of them bust in from the Pine Street Inn downtown. Not only does the church shelter the homeless, but it also serves as a sanctuary for the area's children.
You know, that he got stabbed 5 times and he could still forgive those people. It was really touching.
Carol Brennan has run St. Paul's youth groups for 5 years, offering a willing ear, tutoring, and parties that are alcohol and drug-free.
My mother always told me that I hang with the wrong people and like here's a better place for me. That's why I come here and then I say after the youth group instead of hanging outside or going some other place. She knows here I'm safe and she doesn't have to worry.
I like coming here because I have a place to go and I know I have like something to achieve. Like if I go out to take care of kids, that's something that's good for me and it's not anything that I'm involved out there in the street, is violence or anything like that.
You know, the streets in the city for a kid are the quickest way to the coffin. And for innocent kids, kids might be just going to the store, or going to the library, going downtown. And, you know, it's open season on them at times. And read the newspapers, watch the news on television, you're going to find that out.
We should never expect it to always be doing well. We're not trying to be a Fortune 500 company. Our whole basis to judge ourselves is far different from that.
Theirs is a mission of mercy.
While other dioceses around the country have had to close churches, the Archdiocese here says it has no plans to close any of its 400 churches, including some of the hurting inner-city parishes. Still, the Archdiocese has had to borrow $10 million just to meet its operating commitments. Part of the problem is a modest operating endowment, which produces relatively little in the way of income, so it has to rely on the folks in the parishes. Back with more right after this. Just about 3 decades ago, 170,000 students attended Boston's parochial schools. Today, enrollment is about 1/3 of that, some 53,000. And 80% of the teachers in those schools are lay people. What happened in those 30 years? We found 2 people, a nun and a former nun, whose personal stories parallel a public trend.
Some of these children are starting the day in the same way, perhaps in the same room, once used by their parents or grandparents. These children, like those before them, are here because their parents want them to have the best education possible. In Archdiocesan schools, 9 out of 10 students go on to college. They have a dropout rate of only 2%. Although these students are getting the same quality of education as their predecessors, they are, for the most part, getting it from lay teachers. And for many, this is not their parish school. The excellence in Catholic schools has not changed, but many other things have. St. James Church sits on a side street in Arlington. Up the concrete steps are the buildings that once were a school and a convent. In 1949, when the school opened, this child was one of the first students. Mary Elizabeth Thompson credits her family and the sisters at St. James in her decision to become a teaching nun.
You know, some of it was from the example of the sisters there at the school, but I think a lot of it came from my own background. My mother and father were both very religious, my mother particularly.
Jackie Therian taught at St. James until 1969. She attended Catholic school in Fitchburg and entered a convent at 17. She still recalls her request for acceptance.
It was on Good Friday, and I remember saying, Christ died for us, and in some way I want to do something special for him. I would like to dedicate the rest of my life to the service of God.
Today, Sister Therian is Mrs. Jackie Therian Saltese, a wife, mother, and teacher. Mary Elizabeth Thompson is a Dominican sister and principal of Our Lady of Lourdes School in Jamaica Plain. Both women attended Catholic schools at a time when enrollment was high and increasing. In the late 40s and 50s, thousands of children marched in the Catholic school parades. Parish schools were well attended and well supported. By 1965, over 170,000 students were enrolled in 246 schools in the Archdiocese of Boston. For Jackie Therian, it was a happy time teaching at St. James.
I think I was the flying nun. I think that I was as young as the students that I taught, and I got into as much trouble as they did because we were always playing ball and breaking windows, and I loved every minute of the time that I was in the community because I just had a lot of fun with it. It was life. It was a joy of life. It was a celebration of life.
The last teacher I had at St. James was Sister Therian.
Joanne Guiney Helstowski was taught by the nuns at St. James for 6 years.
And she was the first teacher that I had that I wasn't afraid of. She was one of the new breed of nuns, the young ones, the almost the love child nuns. We would sing songs every day, contemporary songs. All You Need Is Love.
All you need is love.
The 60s were a time of change in the world and in the Roman Catholic Church. Pope John XXIII ushered in modernization of the Church with the Second Vatican Council. Soon after, nuns gained more freedoms.
We started doing things maybe a little more, as you'd say, democratic. We would get together as a community, the house, the convent where I was stationed in, and you would vote for your own head of the house.
Soon after Vatican II, nuns began to gradually change from habits to secular clothes.
The very next day I stood in front of them with a navy blue suit. I can remember it, navy blue suit. But all this time my hair had been up inside the bonnet part of the habit. And when I let my hair down, it was down to my back, and the children were very much in surprise when I walked in the next day. She's a very nice girl.
Now, of course, Jackie wears what she wants to work. She has since 1969, when she left the religious life. After years of marriage, her reasons for leaving are still very private and personal.
The best answer I have for anyone who will always ask, because they'd like to know why you left, is my husband met me 20 years ago, and he said to me that he asked me 20 years ago why I left the convent. And I told him, maybe someday I'll tell you. And he says, I'm still waiting. I said, this is pretty much the answer that I give everyone.
As many as 10 nuns left St. James the year Jackie did. The need to replace them with lay teachers threatened to close the school. Parents were asked to increase tuition. Enrollment dropped. But the school stayed open until 1987, when it closed for good. Our Lady of Lourdes has remained open with the help of the Archdiocese and scholarship donations. Sister Mary heads a staff of 9 teachers. Only 3 are nuns. They all expect a lot from their students, but they also receive.
I think they put their best in. We try to build their self-esteem, and so I think that's the best part about the school, because you get to see the kids when they, you know, when something all of a sudden dawns on them or clicks, or they've done well. to see the faces just lighten up, you know, that makes your day. That's what keeps you going.
Jackie and Mary still have a lot in common. Both are still teaching. Both are strong in their commitment to Catholic education. At the end of a teaching day, Jackie goes home to her house and Sister Mary to her apartment, both looking forward to some time alone.
I can't wait to get home after school and put my sneakers and my pants on. In fact, I'd wear sneakers all the time if I could.
In 1965, there were 246 parochial schools, as we've heard, in the Archdiocese of Boston. Today, there are 183. Jackie Therian, by the way, sent her son to a Catholic school. More of Chronicle after this commercial break.
Coming up next.
I used to think a lot about limbo. I spent hours memorizing the Baltimore Catechism.
Rights and wrongs.
Tonight, we've heard much about the human services the Archdiocese of Boston provides, but in the recent past, we've also seen many headlines about some of the problems facing the Catholic Church, ranging from serious allegations, some proven against some clergy, to the divisions over abortion and birth control. Mike Barnacle's read those stories, and in his opinion, the media should confess to bias. Mike?
You were looking at a veteran of parochial school education. You're looking at someone who remembers the Latin Mass, who can still recite the Confiteor, who can't quite get used to the fact that there are lay people on the altar and no more children's Mass at 8 a.m. in the downstairs church. My knees still hurt from kneeling in my chair. To this day, I figure girls in patent leather shoes are an occasion of sin. I continue to have difficulty with walking into a YMCA or a Protestant church for a wedding or funeral because I was scared out of my shoes by lectures from priests and nuns about what was and what was not an okay place for Catholic children to go without worrying about being excommunicated. I used to think a lot about limbo. I spent hours memorizing the Baltimore Catechism. I used to think a lot about what it meant to be Catholic, and I still do. Today, I figure being Catholic means belonging to the only religion in America that it is acceptable, even fashionable, to bash in the media. No other religion takes the kind of hits the Church does, and the sometimes malevolent punches as well. The issue of abortion is a perfect example. I don't know anyone in favor of abortion, or anybody who roots for more of them to be performed. I do know that for only about 2,000 years, the Catholic Church has opposed abortion. You can look it up. The Church is nothing if not consistent. And the Church, unlike so much else around us, figures rules are rules. You may not like them, but they are the rules. But the Catholic bashing that occurs in the media over abortion is mind-boggling, second only to the coverage accorded to priests charged with the sexual abuse of minors. Does it happen? Absolutely. Did the Church in some instances fail to see the problem or try to cover it up? Sure. But looking at some newspapers would lead you to believe that everyone in a cassock is a pervert. Not true. All I know is that no matter where I have been in the world, from Cambodia to Roxbury, wherever there are suffering human beings, there were nuns and priests right alongside them, trying to make life a little more tolerable. The Church has big problems, no doubt about it, but it also has a huge heart and a whole lot of dedicated people trying to improve things for those nobody else sees. That stuff you never read about.
That's our program for tonight. On Monday, the long hours, low pay, and high satisfaction of a country doctor along the main streets and back roads of Maine. Mary Richardson has the night off. I'm Peter Mahegan. Have a great weekend and a happy Easter. See you Monday.